Now, there's been a lot of conversation regarding Pam Bondi in particular because of her hearing. Unfortunately, I wish I live streamed that when that happened, but I was very busy. I need to start like making these things a little bit more mandatory. But a lot of people are criticizing because Pam Bondi had some bad answers. So instead of watching the 4 hour stream, I'm just going to play the easy way and go through Adam and Abba and Preach. I almost called them Adam and Preach. Because usually they're pretty, even though like they don't have all the knowledge, they bring out some very interesting information. So we're gonna start the stream with this. So let's dive right into it. Shout out Abba and Preach.
This in the land when it comes to the lobby. I know ever since the Epstein stuff has happened, it's been very interesting seeing everything unfold. They had a big hearing. Essentially, Pam Bondi, who is the head of the DOJ, and I believe she's the Attorney General, so pretty much the highest office in the land when it comes to the lobby.
You don't tell me.
No, I did tell you because we saw what you did in the Senate.
You're a lawyer, not even a lawyer.
Maybe we'll be in
Been
the rules.
obsessed with
You're not even a lawyer. I saw that floating around. Imagine you're a politician. You're a politician. The way she was acting was like a petulant child. The MAG administration really, they personify celebrity and content creator culture. That's just, it's embarrassing. I'm not gonna lie.
Donald Trump, you have Trump derangement syndrome. All of you who participated in those impeachment hearings against Donald Trump, you all should be apologizing. You sit here and you attack the president, and I am not going to have it. I'm not going to put up with it. The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000, and the NASDAQ smashing records. Americans.
She's an attorney general, and all she's doing is trying to glaze Donald Trump with information that is beyond her expertise. Talking about the Dow and the economy and the stocks. Like, come on, bro. Pam Bondi, it's pathetic. It's pathetic how these people are just, these cabinet members are just loyalist shills.
401ks and retirement savings are booming. That's what we should be talking about.
That's not true.
I've never heard that pedo shit is acceptable because the stock market is doing great. I've heard a lot. Oh, your groceries suck? The stock market. Oh, your rent is going up?
Right.
The stock market. So the kids are getting diddled? Man, have you seen the S&P up 500? Now we're going to be able to afford 5 more kids on the island. And we're in uncharted territory. And the irony is the main people who benefit from the S&P and the stock market are the exact kind of people who diddle kids. You know what else was actually in the Epstein file? A lot of insider trading. It is always great to know that everyone's got to play by the rules, and you got all these people who just get richer off the fact that they use their governmental position to enrich themselves and their pedo buddies.
And meanwhile, you're at home being...
I can never glaze a president unless I truly believe in them. I'm just like, if you want to talk about his achievements, talk about his achievements, but Pam Bondi is there to specifically talk about her job in the Epstein files, and for out of nowhere, she brings up the Dow and the S&P 500. I'm like, what are we talking about? Let's talk about your job. Why are you glazing Trump out of nowhere? It's pathetic. That means you have nothing of substance to say, so you just go based off like narrative talking points.
Stupid, try to save your money just to buy a home and play by the books.
God damn. She was asked to come in and testify in regards to the new parts of the Epstein files that were released. Now, some of you be like, well, what happened, Abba? There's nothing. No, there's a lot.
I am now on my way to go look at the unredacted Epstein file.
What I saw that bothered me were the names of at least 6 men that have been redacted that are likely incriminated by their inclusion in these files.
Donald Trump's name is all
S&P 500. It's what do we call it? Index fund? Would that be something you can invest in for more money, basically?
over these files.
They were able to get their hands on the unredacted files, which is a big deal because apparently, even though they're supposed to release everything unredacted unless it was a victim's name. Well, tell me how these people not only redacted things when they shouldn't have, but they didn't redact things when they were supposed to. That's right. They dropped the files with the victim's name available to everyone. So imagine you are one of the many girls. Some of you go to the police, you find no sense of justice. Years go by, you see these people enrich themselves. You see some of them become president. You see some of them do a lot of different things. And when you just think you're about to get some justice and they're telling you that they're going to take it seriously, they throw your name out to the public so that anyone can harass you and dox you. Now, some of you might be saying, it's a mistake. Don't forget, they used everyone they wanted at the DOJ, everyone at the FBI, and they began redacting this. And they made an intentional choice to hide the name of co-conspirators of Epstein and his trafficking ring. They made very little efforts, or no efforts in many cases, to redact the names of victims. So when asked about...
It's crazy. I know a lot of MAGA people don't have like ethics. They don't have morals. But for the people that I'm going to reach out to when I make this clip, can we be on the same page for this at the very least, right? I'm not even go as far and say with definitive proof that there is evidence of Donald Trump doing nasty stuff to little girls. There's allegations 100%, but definitive proof probably not in there. But it does strike you as weird that when they put the files out there, they made a mistake with the victims' names, but are purposely redacting potential co-conspirators. We did hear from Marjorie Taylor Greene, because now you guys all hate her because she turned on Trump, but she did state that Donald Trump didn't want to release it because he was afraid it's going to hurt his friends. And a lot of these people that is like connected with Epstein are very powerful people like Lex Wexner, which I think he was like owner of Victoria's Secret or one of the top people for Victoria's Secret. And why are we protecting disgusting rich old dudes? Like, why? What's the point? What do you benefit from it? I just don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't know why you're not advocating for all of the files as other than like the protection of the victims who don't want their names out there, all the files unredacted. What is all these redactions doing here? Because a lot of them are not done for a legal purpose. It's done to protect specific people. So it just dawns on me. It dawns on me that there are MAGA individuals that pretend they care about these files. Now they don't care about it. And if you're one of those people that's like, oh, I voted for Trump and I still care, like, I don't know what's going on, this is crazy, at least we can agree there, hopefully. But if you are who flip-flop your morals, then for shame, you're pathetic. That's all I gotta say. You're pathetic.
These victims, these little girls, her response is the stock market.
The Dow right now is over. The Dow is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000, and the Nasdaq.
See, like people like 46, they're pathetic. It's always, let me try to pivot to something else. You wanted the Epstein files released, but now you're talking about Biden. Trump is currently the president. Why aren't you talking about the current president and what he's doing? Why aren't you? Now, of course, I can go a whole analysis on the difference between Biden and Trump, but y'all don't give a fuck. You don't care about the analysis. You don't care about the reasons. All you care about is optics and narratives because you guys are pathetic. Pathetic.
Smashing records. Americans' 401ks and retirement savings are booming. That's what we should be talking about.
See that little girl in the top left corner? That's from the Epstein files. So when asked about these victims, these little girls, her response is the stock market.
That's what I despise about it. Like, she was asked to cover up, and she needs to die on that hill. That's what she needs to do for the rest of her life. Like, she has to die on that hill. And that's crazy because you're under oath. You're supposed to apply the law. We ask you something that is very clear, and you go on NASDAQ.
No, she doesn't have to do anything. That's a choice she makes. It's not about politics, it's about character. And there's people who work for Trump who no longer work for him because they said no. They threatened to hang Mike Pence because he wouldn't claim that the election was stolen and he was going to certify. They were chanting on January 6th to have him hanged. You have a choice. That's a choice she made. Don't blame politics. You took that money. You accepted it. There are politicians who say no. I mean, you have Howard Lutnick, who is a Secretary of Commerce, huge position to hold in this environment. He was on record talking in the past about Epstein because he was Epstein's neighbor. And I don't mean that like metaphor.
We lived in the same neighborhood or, you know.
Howard Lutnick, pedophile. That's how close they were. He could fucking put his ear to and hear a little.
Oh, Epstein for sure took way too far. There's no evidence that he did things as a kid. I do see that he was in contact with Epstein, but that doesn't mean he did anything. Epstein confirmed did things with kids. Like, that's not even a question. He's a confirmed piece of shit, and so is Ghislaine Maxwell. Donald Trump is all allegations. A lot of people said he did do stuff with kids, and a lot of people have said that he did know about what Epstein was doing. Regardless, a lot of circumstantial evidence indicates that he was aware of the situation, and ignorance of a pedophile human trafficking ring is a terrible excuse. Terrible excuse. I think a lot of evidence kind of clearly points out that Donald Trump is a weirdo who's probably did something with little girls, but there's no definitive proof. But to try to say that Trump has no fault in this entire situation, I think that's utterly ridiculous. I think that's ridiculous.
Child whaling, okay?
Did they see it and ignore it, or
no? They participated.
Right.
That's what his MO was. You know, get a massage, get a massage, and what happened in that massage room, I assume, was on video. This guy was the greatest blackmailer ever.
Without providing evidence, Lutnick saying he believes Epstein may have traded alleged blackmail videos for a lesser prison sentence.
So guys, remember, they all said there was no blackmail list, right? They're all saying that he trafficked himself. Here's the Secretary of Commerce who had access to the file, who knew the fucking guy. And he's saying that there was a blackmail list. The most prolific blackmailer of all time.
I assume way back when they traded those videos in exchange for him getting that 18-month sentence.
He also described Epstein as, quote, gross.
I say to him, massage table in the middle of your house? How often do you have a massage? And he says, every day. And then he gets weirdly close to me. And he says, and the right kind of massage. My wife and I decided that I will never be in the room with that disgusting person. So I was never in the room with him socially, for business, or for even philanthropy. If that guy was there, I wasn't going because he's gross.
Did you in fact make the visit to Jeffrey Epstein's private island?
I did have lunch with him as I was on a boat going across on a family vacation.
That is 5 months apart.
I'm going to go a step further. When he made that interview there, that was 5 months ago, right? But he's talking back to a time before Jeffrey Epstein was ever convicted. He's saying, I knew right away what this man was. I knew what he was blackmailing. Post-conviction, in the Epstein file release, you know what they found? This man had been emailing him the whole time. He set up to go to the Epstein Island afterwards. So the man he thought was so nasty, so disgusting.
He was chilling with them.
He took a private jet with his kids and his family.
As were my 4 children and nannies. I had another couple they were there as well with their children. And we had lunch on the island. That is true, for an hour. And we left with all of my children, with my nannies and my wife, all together. We were on family vacation. We were not apart. To suggest there was anything untoward about that in 2012.
2012 is
after.
So Howard Lutnick starting to renege and go back on his words, trying to make it seem like he was never in contact with Epstein or broke contact and didn't want to be associated with him. It's proven objectively that was false. He was still talking to him, just like what Abba just said. And he also admitted later, it's like, oh, well, I did actually do stuff with him. I went to his island and had some dinner. So what he just did right here is the personification of all you pathetic MAGA freaks that are just trying to change the narrative. You lie, you have this one position, but then more evidence comes out, and then you try to shift it to other things because you know that it's disgusting. Everything here is disgusting for all parties involved. Compared to you guys, I go like, oh, Bill Clinton, your relationship with Epstein, weird as fuck. So I can't wait to hear that hearing with Hillary and Bill. And I hope they just admit all their wrongdoing. If they're going to go to jail, they can go to jail with Trump. I don't give a fuck. The point is, all weirdos should go to jail. But y'all don't care. You don't give a fuck. You just want Trump to be the king. So yeah, it's just crazy. It's anything you can say or come up with to defend Trump because you guys have no integrity. You guys have no morals. It's pathetic.
The conviction of 2009
for child diddling. Okay, so and he knows, everybody knew at the time. The man he thought was he was having lunch with his family and his kids, and he's telling lies years later. Elon did the same thing. Oh, Trump is in the file. Motherfucker, you begging to get on that fucking island, piece of shit.
Well, you always want. You're not a parent. You don't know. But sometimes you want to get away from your kids.
Yeah, I want to get away from the kids and hang out with pedophiles. I can relate to that.
You want to get away from your kids to get with other kids.
Guys,
that's crazy. Elon Musk was a weird one too because I'm sure everybody remembers the saga. So when Elon Musk, just before he left Doge, or when he left Doge, I don't remember the exact time period, but he got really pissed at Donald Trump. Why did he get pissed? Because the big, beautiful bill basically went against everything that Elon Musk tried to do in Doge. He cut some funding that didn't really find any corruption, didn't really make a dent in the overall budget. And then Donald Trump bid a huge bill that made us, that is going to have us in a historical budget deficit. And we're going to have the highest national debt we've had of all time. So everything Elon Musk did was a waste of time. So what happened is that Elon Musk went on Twitter and was like, Donald Trump, what the fuck? What's going on? What are you doing? And then he said, you know, the reason why you don't want to release the files is because you're in it. So he's making all these claims about Donald Trump being in the Epstein files, which also alludes to the fact that, or at the very least alludes to the allegation that he might have done things with little kids. So Elon Musk crashed out a little bit. There was a little tension there. And come to find out that not only was the idea that Elon knew Trump was in the files kind of crazy, but Elon also tried to go to Epstein's island, which is also kind of crazy. So I'm just saying, all these powerful people are now trying to turn on Epstein, who are really people who were in contact with Epstein and wanted to go to Epstein parties and Epstein Island. And we know what Elon probably wanted to do. He probably wanted to get with women because that dude just fucks all the time and has a bunch of kids. So, hey, man, surprise, 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 surprise. And didn't carry Elon's tax credits for. Yeah, Elon was really pissed about the electrical vehicle tax credit. It was like, why'd you say fuck me for? What's going on, Trump? What's wrong with electrical vehicles? That was hilarious. That was hilarious. Oh my goodness, these were hilarious. 46MD, you're a piece of shit. So I don't really care what you say. You have no morals.
I'm just gonna play the statements from these people. Here is JD Vance on Howard Lutnick, because people are calling for his resignation.
Well, I mean, I've been.
What do you say? It's all about the views. I guess it doesn't matter until it's your. What are you talking about? Everyone should be ashamed for letting this continue to happen. What are you yapping about? Most humans are dumb. Yeah, most humans are dumb. Like 80% of MAGA are pretty stupid. But I don't know what Greg is yapping about.
Pretty occupied the last couple of days. I haven't seen Howard getting calls to resign. We'll follow the story a little bit more closely as I get on the plane. But, you know, fundamentally, I think the Epstein files, what they reveal is certainly you had a lot of very wealthy and powerful people who were involved in some very disgusting behavior. But I do find it's interesting that the congressional Democrats are so focused on attacking the President of the United States. Who's the president who actually authorized the release of these files?
All right, don't let him tell that lie. He only authorized it because Congress had already voted on it. At that point, it was going to come out. So here he is saying this today. And this is what Kash Patel was saying back then. I want to play that again.
So he's about to go through very important stuff. Don't let them try to change the narrative. Trump did not want these files to go out. There's already evidence of him telling Republicans, don't let this out. But they were doing so shit with the government shutdown, and his approval rating was going so bad because they're the ones who made this an issue in the first place that he had to release a version of the files. Now, he waited long enough for them to redact all of Trump's friends' names, but yeah, they did not want these files to go out. No, specifically Trump didn't want these files to go out.
Who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these young women to, besides himself?
Himself. There is no credible information.
I just need y'all to help me. How does everyone in this administration talk out of both sides of their mouth, their ears, and booty holes?
We're not helping you understand.
Jail Trump at any cost. That's a stupid thing. Jail Trump if Trump did criminal activity. I'm not a moron. I don't know who John Podesta is. I don't know what this has to do with like what we're talking about right now. But if there's evidence against this John Podesta guy, lock him up too. I'm not a grifting MAGA piece of shit like a lot of you guys in there. So I don't know what you're yapping about. Trump is definitely a criminal. I'm not gonna lie. Do some research. Y'all don't even know what research means, MAGA. Come on.
Dude, you already understand. Stop.
You've never done research in your life.
We're not.
He's not Pam Bondi standing in front of the judiciary. And we're going to listen to a couple of clips here.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Bondi, I went over to the department yesterday for a couple of hours to review some of the unredacted materials. And I am looking forward to your detailed explanation for why you have withheld almost half of the documents, which is required by the bill. Now, obviously, there are 3 million documents, so I didn't get through much. But one thing I didn't see was the client list that you said you had on your desk a year ago. I did, however, find a couple of important documents. An 86-page prosecution memo from the Southern District of New York in a draft indictment from Florida against Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirators. For reasons that I cannot understand nor are permitted by the bill, they were still redacted, even for members of Congress.
Look up Pizzagate. I'll consider it, but I don't trust your information because you motherfuckers are trying to obfuscate so hard from this Trump's Epstein file stuff. Like the information that we all want out, all you motherfuckers are going like, no, let's focus here now. Let's focus here. Like, I don't want that out anymore. I don't want them to make Donald Trump look like a piece of shit. So, it's tough, bro. It's tough.
So, Ms. Bondi, will you commit right here to immediately providing those two documents in unredacted form to members of Congress? Not a complicated question.
Well, I guess it is for you because you have a law degree and those are privileged.
What kind of response is that? A non-response, the typical MAGA motto.
Okay.
Let's not answer the fucking question I was asking you.
So, Ms. Bondi, the bill, they were still redacted, even for members of Congress, against Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirators. For reasons that I cannot understand nor are permitted by the bill, they were still redacted, even for members of Congress. So, Ms. Bondi, will you commit right here to immediately providing those two documents in unredacted form to members of Congress? Not a complicated question.
Well, I guess it is for you because you have a law degree and those are privileged.
What kind of fucking response is that? She's like a fucking child. Are you going to unredact this information that you're legally required to of his co-conspirators and give it to Congress? What's so fucking hard about answering that question? Why are you trying to protect these rich motherfuckers? What are we doing here? Well, you can't answer? This is pathetic, bro. This is absolutely pathetic. Pam Bondi is shame. Oh, I can't answer, so let me do the Donald Trump zinger. Let me do the Donald Trump insult that has nothing to do with the fuck we're talking about. Like, come on, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Indictments are not privileged.
Yo. Jasmine's face on that was like, what is this bitch even talking about? What are you on? Jasmine, yo.
I also found an email that I have right here from Jeffrey Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell that was unredacted. And it included notes of statements that Donald Trump made about his prior relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Now, there is no reason for this to be hidden from the American people. There is no privilege. There is no attorney-client privilege. And I see you're checking with your staff. And I can assure you, staff, this is not under attorney-client privilege because it was sent from Jeffrey Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell. Will you commit to publicly providing the unredacted version of this so that the American people can understand the extent of Donald Trump's lies about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein?
You're about as good of a lawyer today as you were when you tried to impeach President Trump in 2016. Have you apologized for that in 2019?
So will you unredact this?
Oh my God, she did the MAGA tactic. I think every person of MAGA had the same response mechanism. They don't answer the fucking question that is asked of them, and then they pivot to something completely unrelated because they don't have enough moral integrity to actually give a proper answer. It's crazy. Hey, this doesn't follow under the legal protections to redact this amount of information because it went from criminal to criminal, Epstein to Maxwell. Why is this redacted? What does it say? Unredacted now. Trump, and you did this to Trump. That's all she did. Trump. They're literally like the fucking character in Chowder that says rada, rada, rada. All they say is Trump. Trump is deep down their throats. All they do is suck on that Trump. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. I don't know what we're doing. We live in America. We have incompetent fools like Pam Bondi running the attorney general office. It's like, okay, bro, this is ridiculous. What is that answer? What are we doing?
Will
you were lead counsel on that. Privilege.
I'm asking you, will you unredact this?
Privileged.
That's what I hate. Pause. That is exactly what I hate. It's like it's kindergarten. When you watch wrestling, it's known that it's written. This, it's performative as hell.
These are obviously improper.
It is performative. It's disgusting. All she does is avoid every single question and divert the questions by talking about things that have nothing to do with what is going on with the pedos. She's so horrendous. She is horrendous. She is the piece of shit, like undeniably. She's in the files, maybe pen protecting. You know, you might be cooking there, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Not actually, you might. It's not might. You are cooking there for sure.
For redactions.
And let me stop for a minute.
I'm talking. I'm
if they're
talking.
not privileged,
Quiet.
don't yell at me. If they're not
Chairman, would you
privileged,
stop the clock? This is on your time. It's not on Mr.
If they're
Goldman.
not
Even though you
privileged,
used your
if we review
improper
them and they're not-
redactions
You'll like my answer.
to
If we
continue
review them
to
You know, it is crazy to think that this lady's a lawyer.
Brian definitely
know
can't love
that
MAGA
if you're
right
not
now,
being asked a
but
question,
I rock with you, bro.
the judge doesn't tell you to speak, you don't talk. So it's just funny to watch the general attorney sit here and be this disruptive during a proceeding. But I think it goes to show you all the different lies they're telling, all the fact that they can't even coordinate their lies or all be on the same page. It goes to show you what I've been saying about these people in regards to everything. They're very incompetent. They're incompetent and corrupt. That's it. That's why ICE looks the way that it does. That's why a lot of their operations look the way, and that's why this is happening this way. They're bad at their job and they're corrupt. And when you don't have nobody to check you,
that's what happened. And it's really what bothers me, the back and forth like that when you asking a clear question. That's what politics is. The art of dodging questions.
Doing well, Brian. Doing well.
In those cases. You know what I mean? Preach. What happened when you did that and when you were, where were you such and such? Did you do what you were supposed to do? Excuse me, sir, you pooed in 94.
The difference here and what's not been heard of is that now we're dealing with somebody who will pardon anyone who's corrupt for him.
Yes.
So they feel emboldened. Because like in previous administrations, you might be afraid of the fact that the next DOJ is going to come and press charges. These guys are not afraid.
And nothing's going to happen to them. They're either.
It's kind of crazy. Donald Trump just pardoned a bunch of like NFL players for some reason. I didn't really look in depth on it, but apparently these people at like charges regarding drugs and stuff, he is abusing that pardon power. When Democrats get in control, we need to have a serious conversation regarding this pardon power, because I think it needs to be heavily changed, regardless if you're a Democrat or Republican. And this needs to be limited for sure.
Waiting for everybody to die, and they're lying until everybody dies.
No, trying to
and they'll protect that. Everybody's going to make money, and when it's going to be done, it's going to be done. And if Trump dies, then everything is going to be thrown under the bus. But he's already dead, so who cares?
Even though you used improper redactions to protect Donald Trump and other predators associated with Jeffrey Epstein, you did the exact opposite thing with the survivors and victims of this scheme. So their identification information was really the only thing required to be redacted, and it was not. And it's clear this was not a mistake. This was not by accident. This was not because you only had 30 days when you really used 75, and that doesn't even include all the hours last March that you were redacting it. But I'll tell you why it's
good to hear. Things went sour this weekend. Van rear end blew out, bought me a new Silverado. Oh, damn. Especially in this cold weather, yeah, you definitely gotta be careful driving out there. Yeah. I hear you, Simon.
Clear it wasn't a mistake. There is an email entitled Epstein Victim List. There are 32 names. One is redacted. 31 are not. So someone looked at it and decided to redact something. And I will tell you that that is clearly intentional to intimidate these survivors
Florida
and victims.
money, you know. Hey, man, it sounds like you do well for yourself. If you're, if I'm gonna do an olive branch, if I have money, of course, going to Florida would be a dream. Now, if I'm poor, then I'm getting fucked over. But shout out Florida.
Now, in an interview last week,
How will you tell me that's intentional?
in an interview last week, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche
You can't go off script.
said that any victim that wants to speak with the department has done so, hopefully. Well, thanks to the incredibly brave people sitting here behind you, we can actually ask them if that's true. Now, with the survivors and victims who are here, please stand up one more time. Just by show of hands, how many of you or your loved ones actually have met with the Department of Justice and provided testimony and estimate and evidence? None. And of those of you who have not met, which is everyone, how many of you have reached out either individually or through a lawyer or representative to offer to provide testimony and evidence? All of them. And of those of you, all of you who have reached out, how many of you were denied or ignored by the Department of Justice? All of them. And despite the shameful and despicable efforts by Ms. Bondi and her department to intimidate you, how many of you are still willing to speak to the Department of Justice? All of them. Well, Ms. Bondi, it looks like you have some more witnesses to talk to.
The reason why I want to play that is that the Epstein's victims, many of them, a good majority of them, were actually in the courtroom. They were standing back there.
There was one redaction out of over 4,700, and we invited you in.
Was she laughing? What's that?
There was one redaction.
Mind you, like,
this is a crazy situation. And I think recently they said that there is no more investigations that they plan to do, but you haven't talked to any of the victims. I don't get what's going on here. Do you care about what's going on or do you not? It sounds like to me, which we know for a fact is what Donald Trump has been trying to do. He's been trying to move on from the Epstein files the moment he became president. Yeah, they used it to help him get elected with JD Vance, Kash Patel, Dan, a bunch of mega content creators constantly talking about it. And then once he became president, they tried their hardest to forget about it. They had a whole spectacle. It was like, oh yeah, the files is on my desk and all that bullshit. And then once push comes to shove, nothing. Zilch. And all this pressure we're putting that is being put on the MAGA administration to release these files, and they're trying their hardest to redact certain information, prolong the amount of files that they're releasing because they only release half to, I think it was 3 million out of 6 million. And now they just want to move on altogether. Donald Trump even said, see, there's nothing, so now we can move on. We know what's actually going on. Come on now.
She's dealing with one of the most prolific sex traffickers and one of the most powerful people who did what he did, and she saw the tapes, and in a hearing, she's laughing.
Well, people laugh for different reasons, not because it's necessarily funny. It looks fucking bad, but
I'm sorry. No. You are the attorney general. A modicum of fucking professionalism would be demanded. You're not a fucking dude at Burger King. Sorry. This is your job. You put criminals behind bars. When you're asked by people why victims are not getting justice and you're laughing, that's on you. My bad. I know you weren't the person who said it, but no. And I only say that because I, as a fucking private in the army, would have gotten reamed for laughing at an inappropriate time.
You would have.
Okay.
You would have.
Okay.
But you still, people laugh for different reasons. That's a fact. That's a fact. I feel like there's discomfort there and everything. And it's highly unprofessional from her. But yeah, people do laugh for different reasons. It is highly unprofessional for what she's doing.
Okay.
100%.
And considering her attitude throughout the whole hearing, how she treated it as a joke,
yes,
then what she's doing is bad.
I don't see like, ha ha ha, great victims. That's not what I see, but it's still unprofessional. And on top of that, with the way that she's acting and she's been acting and she's been answering and she's been just waving things that is a serious thing that's been sent to her. So yes, it is highly unprofessional.
Okay, so she's treating it like a joke. That's what she's doing. She's been treating the whole thing. Hey, rape victims, the stock market is great. You're not taking it seriously. What about these traffic? The Dow Jones is up 500. No. No, that's crazy. I can understand there's nuance to how people react to situations.
Sure.
The bitch knows what she's doing, and she's been laughing the whole hearing. Look at her reaction. Someone will ask her a question, be like, "You're a shit lawyer." That's you laughing at the victims. That's you snubbing your nose and saying, "Fuck you guys." Yeah. We good?
What do you mean we're good?
We're good.
What do you mean we're good?
The court is adjourned.
No, it's not. Take that back.
700, and we invited you in. This guy has Trump derangement syndrome. He needs to. You're a failed politician. I find it interesting that she keeps going after President Trump, the greatest president in American history. And if they could maintain their composure.
Yo, I can't. Wait.
She treats it like a joke.
No, she's a lawyer. She's a lawyer of the devil. Trump.
A lawyer of the devil's
advocate. That's it.
She's trying to be the devil's advocate. You're bastardizing the term devil's advocate because I usually take that role all the time. Riddell, you know I'm on the Republican side. But with that said, look up Trump in the Dominican Republic. He was with teenagers, not down with him anymore. Sad comment about the Obama. Yeah, the Obama stuff is kind of indefensible. I don't know why he did that. Like I'm be honest, I have no idea why he did the Barack Obama and Michelle Obama on monkeys thing. That was crazy. I don't know what the Dominican Republic stuff is. Can you be more specific? I'll look it up after this video. I don't know what you're referring to. You could, yeah, I have no idea. It was just as appropriate to laugh under the context it would be at a funeral. Are you talking about what Pam Bondi, regarding Pam Bondi? Her laughing? Yeah, I'm not really, people laugh in different situations. I don't really hyperanalyze how people react to tense situations. I do think there's something to be said if you have like no response. Like that's a level of like sociopathy or psychopathy that could be disturbing, but I digress.
Sorry?
People laugh for a different reason.
All right, I'll just let you have it. No, all these people who are enabling the man and helping him get away with his own pedophilia, they're all the devils themselves too.
Oh, 100%.
This lady, I hope she rots in hell.
Oh, don't wish bad things or fuck that shit. I wish very bad thing on these people, and I wish they suffer.
This is something I also want to pull up. So you guys look right here. Someone took a picture of the folder that she kept opening and looking at. And you can't see it in this image, but if I switch over to the other MS Paint one right here, that says Jayapala Pramila search history. What are we looking at right here?
What are we looking at right here?
Jayapal Pramila is one of the senators who was grilling Pam Bondi. A lot of the senators got the access to the files unredacted, so they went to court, they went to the DOJ, and they went through the files themselves. They kept tabs on what they looked up, printed out their search history, came here, didn't redact any of it, and then when they showed up here, so you can see the victims' names on some of these files. Why do you think they're keeping the search history of the senators as they're going through this and trying to use it during the court hearing? So they know what kind of questions to be prepared for. They never had any intentions to be transparent. They came out here, and if you look at it, like, I'll read some of the stuff. It says, I love the torture video from Sultan to Epstein. So, you know, that's stuff they were sending each other.
Mm-hmm.
Someone wrote, thank you.
What the fuck is, what? Wait, hold on.
And if you look at it, like, I'll read some of the stuff. It says, I love the torture video from Sultan to Epstein. So
what?
That's stuff they were sending each other.
Mm-hmm.
Someone wrote, thank you for a fun night. Your littlest girl was, and I think the last word's naughty, but I can't make it up.
Little naughty.
Another person wrote, a new Brazilian just arrived, sexy and cute. And I can't see the number. It might be 18, 17. It's hard to say. It just goes to show you the approach that they have and the kind of tabs. They're more concerned with finding out how much the senators know than looking for justice.
Yes.
Here's another part about this that I want to hear.
So those are quotes from the Epstein files. I got a little confused. I still don't have a strong opinion in regards to the search history stuff because there's probably a lot of legalese I just do not know as of right now. It does seem pretty weird to me, the intention of looking up this senator's search history. I feel like your job as the attorney general should be much more focused on going after criminals. So why are we wasting resources and time doing that instead? I don't know about that. I don't know if it's legal. I don't know if it's okay, but I do know for a fact it is strange. I know I'm not racist, but Obama's characterized as monkeys was spot on. So this guy is racist based.
Pretty much everybody else here and throughout the country believes that convicted sex offenders don't deserve special treatment or privileges in prison. And yet Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirator, received perk after perk in prison. In July, she had a 2-day interview with your deputy and President Trump's former defense attorney, Todd Blanche. Just days after that, Maxwell was transferred from a federal correctional institution in Florida to a minimum security camp in Texas, which she, as a sex offender, would normally be ineligible for. At this new facility, as the ranking member talked about, and by the way, it's nicknamed Club Fed. We've heard reports that she's been afforded special privileges, puppy time, private workouts, personal mail, secretarial services. Attorney General Bondi, does a convicted sex offender like Ghislaine Maxwell deserve special treatment and privileges in prison? Yes or no?
Let me be crystal clear on this. No. And let me keep going. No, let me keep going.
Perfect. Well, I
did not know she was being transferred.
I asked you yes or no.
She was not transferred to a lower level.
Some of you might be like, what's going on? You have to remember when you're in court, that's normal. If the lawyer asks you a yes or no question, you can't.
Now, I've always been consistent with this. Yes or no. I hate that stuff. I do, really do. I know that's a lawyer thing. I do want people to explain, because in this situation, it would have been better if Pam Bondi said, no, it's not okay. Explain, give her rationale, and then we can fact check whether or not she's telling the truth. I mean, that's just easy. It just seems like you're trying to hide something when you do that stuff, and I really don't like it, regardless if you're a Democrat or Republican. Go Trump in the Dominican Republic. That sounds like a crazy thing to search up.
Expand beyond that. That's more. And she, as an attorney, knows that. She's trying to filibuster so she can tell you about the stock market.
Or she's trying to mess up her flow and distract her and everybody else from everything, because she knows the protocol. She knows what she's doing.
Yep.
It's not like, oh my God, she's so incompetent. No. When they do stuff like that, it is planned. They know what they're doing.
Of course, you want to make Trump happy. She's being a good little girl.
Stop the clock and remind the witness of the rules. One rule she needs to understand.
I'm glad that we're agreeing. So when we're agreeing, we can move on to some other things. But I want you to know that every time she does get these perks, and it's been publicly reported, that the folks she's abused, the survivors who are sitting here, they see themselves as being denied justice. They feel re-traumatized. And I'm glad that we agree on that. but she should not be in that prison. And she needs to be moved back to a maximum security prison as soon as possible. But what she has told another committee here is that she won't cooperate with them unless she gets clemency from Donald Trump.
Not only did she say that, this woman who's a convicted trafficker said that if she gets clemency, she'll exonerate Bill Clinton and Donald Trump.
You know what I think?
Wait, hold on. Let me move myself real quick. Well, actually, I'll just leave myself. I'll just read it. Ghislaine Maxwell has offered to exonerate Donald Trump in the Epstein case in exchange for clemency. Journalist Carol Cadwalla notes this. That seems like a pretty crazy thing to know. How the fuck does she know? I'll be honest. I'm just gonna like, how do you know that? Because if I'm Donald Trump, I would do whatever possible to ensure that this doesn't get out. That basically confirms corruption. But I don't know. That seems like a crazy thing to know. And maybe she does know. I have no idea. I don't want to say that I believe that's the first time I've heard any of them answer a yes or no question with yes or no. Right? You know what? I was like, what are you talking about? Yes. This is the first time I've heard someone actually give an answer of yes or no and not try to filibuster. I'm actually there with you.
She'll exonerate Bill Clinton and Donald Trump.
You know what I think is going on? I think they're keeping Ghislaine Maxwell alive because
Trump, former press secretary, I think I've seen this somewhere, said he calls his own supporter basement dwellers and they support him. LO and maggots, bro. Research says Trump supporters are poorly attuned. I mean, objectively, most Trump supporters, is it most Trump supporters are people without a college degree? I think that might be true. At the very least, I know in comparison to Democrats, it's like night and day.
she is a liability, right? If she goes back to maximum, she's the one that's going to rat you all out.
Well, don't you?
Hey, I'm not talking about all of you, because some of you are okay. Some of you are solid people. I'm talking about the people who are not solid people. So if this doesn't apply to you, don't take offense to it. I know it can be a little difficult when you're using like general terms, but I don't want to hate all Trump supporters. Base. Like Brian is solid. I like Brian. He's cool people.
Remember the leaks that were coming out?
From my
The birthday book?
Yeah, because
everything stopped when she got to.
Because when she moved from the maximum to wherever she is now, all the leaks stopped. She's gonna stop. She's gonna keep on leaking. I think she's being kept alive by bigger forces, the people that orchestrate this whole operation. I don't know who.
That begs the question: who ordered her to be transferred to the minimum security prison that she was ineligible for? Who signed off on the special privileges? Was it Mr. Blanche? Was it one of your other subordinates? So please, can you tell us who sent her there since you don't agree she should be there?
I said I do not agree she should receive special treatment. She was transferred, I learned after the fact, to the same level facility, and that is a question for the Bureau of Prisons. I was not involved in that at all.
That is a lie.
Does it matter?
No,
Wait. She was not. Wait. That answer just doesn't make sense. You're not involved with Maxwell and what prison she goes to? Aren't you the attorney general? What is your job? Like, what? Isn't that like in your wheelhouse? Okay, that was a strange answer. So, but Trump is guilty of something awful as he's not allowed all Epstein files. All I want to say is that simple, but he's definitely protecting a lot of people.
Well, that's a lie. She now has the ability to pet a puppy whenever she wants. You know, she does yoga. She has a guard who has to attend to her.
Why is a human sex trafficker with little girls able to pet puppies? What's going on there? Prisons don't just move you somewhere to, like, for sure. The idea that Pam Bondi didn't know is full of shit. It's just not true.
Needs are met. In fact, she's so demanding that some of the guards have voiced the fact that they dislike her. Her circumstances have improved a lot, and that's also
100%.
why we don't have any more leaks like the birthday book
100%.
and other evidence she has about Trump.
100%.
So the powers that be that don't want their shit out there, they're the ones.
Most Republicans think colleges are indoctrination camps. A lot of them do. the issue there is really, hold on. Okay, I just read something. A lot of them do. Okay, a lot of them do think that, and I mean, it's really just jealousy, if we're being honest, because there's a reason why a lot of college students end up Democrat and progressive. It's because once they go to college, that's when like you're optimizing education. After you're done with college, you really just focus on your particular niche or your particular job. You don't really expand your thinking, and this is like your first time absorbing so much good information. So what happens a lot of the time is that these people learn about these policies, and you very quickly understand that in terms of policy and principles, a lot of these lean Democrat. They just do objectively. Now, once you become a little bit older, people tend to shift more Republican, especially if they are being much more individualistic because you want to save taxes, want to buy a home. Democrats and people in college, they think on the wider scope of like humanity. When you become more of a like older, now this is not really a thing now because MAGA is a fascist regime. So like typical Republicans would think a little bit more independently. They want to save taxes. They want to buy a home. They want to have a family. So you understand like why they both think the way they think. But if we're talking about policy, it's just overall in terms of what helps society, you learn very quickly that Democratic policies tend to do better. They just do, especially in terms of helping people. But in terms of like helping yourself, especially if you're like have more money, you tend to lean Republican. Like why all of this happens, why people are so jealous of like college students and colleges. Some of it can get a little bit woke, of course, but some also can be a little bit woke on the right side in terms of like a lot of them creating these Catholic schools and trying to put Christianity in schools, like what Texas is doing, and trying to push like very conservative norms. They both do it. It's just conservatives are pissed that like mostly liberal institutions do it because there's more benefit from like liberal principles compared to conservative ones. But I just went all whole rant for no reason. Riddell, you just explained me. Before this whole MAGA craziness, I completely understand why people would be Republican. Now I don't understand because the Republican Party currently just doesn't exist. So, but I understand why someone would be Republican. Like I like saving taxes. I understand why people would be pro-gun. I understand why people would be pro-life. I understand people wants to cut taxes and have a more efficient tax system. I get a lot of this stuff. It's just none of that makes sense now. So cannot understand the American system, why they allowed Trump I mean, a lot of people wanted change and thought Trump was the answer. Simple as that.
Who made it happen. And like, there's no way anyone can convince me that Trump didn't do shit with this man. Because the way he's vouching for him, the way he's trying to protect these people who are involved in this is all that. There's an irony too, because in the files themselves, people point to things where Trump was like, in a 2008 police report with Florida, Palm Beach, he was asked about this. And you know what he said in that? I think it's very good. They're very bad people. Everyone knew about Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, both of them very evil people. That's how we talked about them.
I'm bringing out the receipts, but Abba cooking. Policies aside, I don't think a president should behave like him. They should show respect and kindness. His morals are crap and he treats people like that. Yeah, it's very unfortunate. I just want to get past this Trump era so we can get to like normal politicians. I just don't know if MAGA will ever allow the Republican Party to be normal again. I just don't know. Like JD Vance, I could see really just trying to adopt the MAGA motto, but he doesn't have the charisma to really galvanize a base like Trump does, like Trump can. Yeah, it's tough. And now we have people like Stephen A. Smith that wants to run for president. What the fuck? That motherfucker knows nothing about nothing. Like, what are we doing? We're treating the presidency like a joke. It's disgusting.
Back then, keep in mind, this is also after Trump had already said about him that him and Epstein share a very common interest. The only difference is that Epstein likes them a little more young. So he knew about that man's proclivities. If he knew when they were arrested how evil that was, that means that he knew what they were up to. Fast forward to when he started to become president and he's asked about him. You know what he says? Everyone knew them, but I don't know. So
He is destroying our relationship with allies. It's tough. Joe Biden did a lot to fix it from the first term, but now it's way worse.
One person who can destroy Trump. It's Epstein. But how does this man talk about Ghislaine Maxwell, someone who's accused and who's been convicted of trafficking? I wish her well. You wish a child trafficker well?
No, you just don't want to touch that. You just don't want to say something. You don't want to upset her. The president got power, but Ghislaine got more power. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the man's name is in the Epstein file thousands of times. The idea that this man is not a pedo is crazy. Now, if you ask me, would that hold up in the court of law? Of course not. But everyone knew what this guy was up to. Everyone who flew his jets knew what it's about. Trump wrote him really creepy birthday stuff he wrote them this weird ass fucking haiku on a woman's body. Like, these guys were all disgusting perverts. And your boy Trump, definitely a pedo. You have to have a little cult mentality to still think that man's not a pedo.
100%. It is a part of a cult.
Yeah. And people say stuff like, oh, I don't give a fuck about them. Shit, said Bill Clinton, said anybody else, I don't give a fuck. But you guys definitely worship a pedo. It is what it is. I will never hesitate to think that or say it.
You know, instead of talking about Ghislaine Maxwell, who hopefully will die in prison, you should be talking about Irina Zarutska.
I have a couple
who
of
died
other
on the
questions.
subway.
Right, and I absolutely,
you don't talk about that.
I have been talking about it and actually helping with these issues. But we're going to move back to you.
I bet we are.
Yes, of course, because you're here to testify. That's what the whole point of this.
Like, what are we doing? We're not paying Bondi. You're not here to have a conversation about issues. You're here because we want you to answer our fucking questions. Like, I don't, bro. This is so stupid. This is so dumb. It's so dumb. It's like, and it's funny because I saw like this. There's like an idiot in my chat who just said Bondi embarrassed the left lunatics, and it's just, how is your brain wired to come to that conclusion? I just don't understand it. I saw Fox News post a clip about her saying, "Oh, you're not a real lawyer," and I'm like, is that all you got? Is like all you could do like stream gotcha clips? Like, this is a news program and you're doing stream gotcha clips. It's pathetic. It's so pathetic. It's so pathetic.
I bet you are. That's what you're here for, dum-dum.
Well, she didn't think so because she never answers questions.
Yup.
As we've heard, she took the fifth in response to every single question in that committee hearing. And her lawyer dangled the offer of clemency. Should Donald Trump pardon or commute her sentence? Should she be released from prison? Yes or no? You said you hope she dies there, so I'm hoping the answer is no.
I already answered that question.
Good. I'm very glad. I really like this bipartisan agreement about
when
what
it
should
agrees
happen.
with you, but you don't want to talk about Irina Zarutska. You don't want to talk about
I talk about
murdered
her all
by
the
a
time,
violent crime.
but I
Why are we talking? We're talking about Epstein and Maxwell. Why did you bring up this woman from Ukraine, even though it was disgusting and that guy should be in jail forever? That has nothing to do with what we're talking. Oh man. Like, under the different definitions of like MAGA, one of the definitions should be kings of whataboutisms and what's it called? Obfuscating? Is that the word?
Whataboutism.
That's another thing that I hate. You're not here to ask questions, bitch. Not here to be like, you're here to answer questions. They have questions for you. She's always flinging back questions. Don't worry. She knows what she's doing. She's trying to throw off everything. But I really hate that shit about politics. I remember
I know this is a word, obfuscate. Is it obfuscate? Obfuscate? Is it obfuscate? Obfuscate there. Obfuscate? Is that the word, obfuscate? Bro, I feel like I heard this word and I just don't know what the word is. Oh, obfuscate. It's a standard term meaning to confuse or obscure, while obfuscate is a rare variant of the same word. Obfuscate is the prominently found in you. It carries the same meaning, confused, obscure. Oh, so it's so that's how you spell it. I was always wondering, like, what is this word? It's obfuscate. Obfuscate. There we go. I know the word now.
One day my mom said, "Why don't you go to politics?" She said that. My mom said that. I was like, "Mom, I wouldn't fit. I would die in minutes."
President and administrator going back 30 years have known about Epstein. Trump's administrator claims complete transparency and then release. All of them now. That's what I'm saying. You take release all of them. Definitely not pardon her. She's the setup woman for Epstein. There is no way you can like rationally pardon Maxwell. If we're pardoning like human trafficking sex criminals that that played a part in like trafficking young girls, I'll be honest, I would lose it. I would get rid of the pardon power at that point. It's crazy. Think I'm heading to independent, starting to like either party. I get it. I understand. I think at the very least, what we can say is that I'm fine with anybody who doesn't want to become a Democrat. Like, fine. I'm not a Democrat. I consider myself purple. I consider myself independent. My values are my own. I think you just need to make a careful analysis, like for the new candidates, and we'll see if they like become normal and really start just advocating for like ideological political principles and actual provide solutions and not just like try to completely erode our American institutions. It's like, it's crazy.
I don't talk like them. I don't have the same thought. I'd be like, yo, shut your bitch ass up when I'm talking, yo.
One of the most powerful people in the land. Let's listen to this.
Didn't ask Merrick Garland.
They would have to pardon Clinton and Obama. Obama, there's no, what are you talking about, Obama? Clinton, send him to jail too. I don't know what you're referring to regarding Obama.
Anything about Epstein, not once when he was. And also, I want the record to reflect that, you know, with this anti-Semitic culture right now, she voted against a resolution condemning.
Oh,
really?
I
just want to be clear.
so you want to go there, Attorney General?
Ooh, bitch!
Yo, she was getting sassy. She was like, you want to go? Yo, it was about to get wild. I want to see them fight. Fight, fight, fight. This is our politics, ladies and gentlemen. Fight, fight, fight. It's kind of crazy. Obama's in the final. You're literally ignoring certain pedophiles. What does it say about Obama in the files? Because Shaq is in the files too. Just because you're in the, I've said this like 50 times. Just because you're in the files doesn't necessarily mean you've done bad things. The reason why Trump and Clinton have done bad things is because there's a lot of language in there of them looking like allegedly they've done weird shit with Epstein. There's a lot of people who've communicated with Epstein that did not do bad shit, like Shaq. His name is in there. He didn't do any bad shit. There's nothing, there's no confirmation of him doing bad shit in the files. So what does it say about Obama? What is your evidence regarding Obama? Please, let me hear it. If the truth needs no defending, what is Bondi defending? I don't fucking know, man. I don't know.
Are you serious? Talking about anti-Semitism to a woman who lost her grandfather in the Holocaust? Really?
Yeah, you can't pull the anti-Semitic card on a Jew who got ties to the Holocaust. That's an L.
That's an L.
That's like a whole Yu-Gi-Oh match. Bitch, you activated my trap.
Yeah,
Shaq, blue eyes.
From my understanding, Shaq is a great person. I don't know him personally, but I've seen a lot of great things about Shaq. His language where Obama went to the island. Did he? Drop a source. I don't believe you. Drop a source.
Like dragging on that ass. She went, my granddad.
Drop a source.
Got to that.
My Charmander.
Don't do that.
No.
Don't do that.
Okay.
I said blue eyes white dragon. This nigga says Charman. You didn't say Charizard or nothing.
No.
He said Charmander.
My bad.
You want that little fucking flame on the tail?
It's cute. I kind of like Charmander.
That's how you know Priest wasn't on Pokemon like that. That's how you know.
No, it was not.
You know, it's kind of like when I listened to Joe Rogan do the whole pedophile defense for his podcast. The people who used to talk about this stuff, a good majority of them don't actually care because they never want to call out the real names. They don't want to call out the person who's in charge of this whole entire cover up. They'll be like, oh, this, but like this, own your part. You guys have all the levers of government. You own the House. You own the Senate. You own the Supreme Court. You own the presidency.
Oh, you have no sources. Gotcha. Understood. Not surprised. Dude just making shit up. Making shit up. Not surprised. Not surprised.
You could do whatever you want. If you wanted these files out there, they'd be out there in 30 seconds.
Melania was born male in a Soviet.
We saw the Epstein list.
What the
You
fuck?
told everyone. There's tapes, blackmail. He's the most prolific. You guys were telling us on the campaign. You guys tell everybody on the campaign trail. He's going to get released.
And then you backtrack. Oh, no, there's nothing.
And then you say, oh, it is real. And then some of y'all say it's not. And then you say, oh, there's no tapes. It was on my desk. And then it's just, these people, they're not serious. They're all corrupt.
There's
Doesn't
nothing.
matter.
I didn't see
The
anything
truth
about
has never been
Obama
part of their
going
agenda.
to
They
the
don't care
island.
about what it sounds like, what it looks like. They just care about what keeps them in power. So,
and why? Because that's how they get money, more money.
Crime.
That's really what they're doing.
Facts.
They're doing a crime, but they got ties, so they good. Yeah. I'm not talking about the ties around their neck. I'm talking about the ties that they have with each other.
So, you know, anytime you guys meet people from MAGA and they'll be like, oh, Trump derangement, these guys worship a pedophile.
Yeah, that's a weird religion, but you know, people do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, what Abba is saying right now perfectly personifies this guy who's just making up shit because he knows he can't defend his cult-like allegiance. It's disgusting. Obama's more for the Diddy oil. What are you yapping about? There's no evidence Obama went to a Diddy party. If there's evidence, what is it? Let me see it. Let me see it. So I can look at Obama strangely. Let me see it.
And finding out who these people were. There's no reason to redact the co-conspirators. That was never part of it, but they want to protect the powerful people.
Yeah.
Fair enough. You New Yorkers had a deal with Trump literally there. Him and his wife. They went to a Diddy party. I mean, not necessarily a bad thing going to a Diddy party because like a lot of like normal celebrities went to Diddy parties. But if you went to one of the Diddy After Dark parties, then I got to look at you sideways. If you went to like, oh, I went to a party and the sun is still up and we're just having a good time, that's a little different. Yeah, this guy in the chat is a fucking moron. He doesn't understand context. He's just making shit
more calls
up.
for resignation. So
Not surprised.
everywhere else, you're seeing the accountability, but in the one place.
Well, it is called the land of the free, so
MAGA lies
is to be free. So I guess that's you got to protect
par for the core.
I'll say this: be it the Trump admin or all the senators grilling them, a lot of these people don't take this shit very seriously. You can tell by the speeches. You can tell by the fact that there's a lack of substance.
I think that's all for the Advent Preach video. I mean, the Pam Bondi stuff was pathetic, and the amount of people in my chat, like this recent guy, that's like trying to obfuscate, trying to whataboutism, making shit up to try to like get a gotcha. You guys are a piece of shit, and you guys are pathetic. I'll be honest, you guys are pathetic. Oh my god, it's disgusting. But hey, man, no surprise there. There are some good Trump supporters. Or at the very least, there's good people who voted for Trump who just didn't know better, or maybe just thinking twice. But all you guys that are trying to cape for him, yeah, you guys are evil people, piece of shit. You guys are evil. Thinking 10 years heading to Costa Rica. Why Costa Rica?